Hi, this is Andrew Pidor and welcome to my channel.
The Netherlands, a country known for its tall people, windmills, tulips, clogs, canals and flatness, as well as its progressiveness and directness. A country with more than 17 million inhabitants, living on just 41,543 square kilometers. The other side of the Netherlands is its monarchy. The Dutch monarchy dates back to Prince William of Orange in the 16th century, and in 2013, they just celebrated its 200-year anniversary with a new king, King Willem-Alexander. Willem-Alexander became king after a long line of queens: Queen Emma, Queen Wilhelmina, Queen Juliana, and Queen Beatrix. And in today's video we are going to look at all the beautiful tiaras that had been collected by all the queens of the Netherlands. The Dutch diamond Bandeau is really the simplest of pieces, nothing but giant diamonds in a row on a thin platinum frame. It looks like a necklace worn in the hair, and that's essentially what it is. The tiara originates with a diamond collet necklace, which was a wedding gift to Princess Emma of Waldeck and Pyrmont by the Dutch people when she married King Willem III of the Netherlands in 1879. The diamonds themselves date back even further. The strand of diamonds was used as both a necklace and a dress ornament before it was converted into a tiara. The tiara was seen as early as 1937 on the future Queen Juliana, who was Queen Emma's granddaughter. Juliana's mother, Queen Wilhelmina, also wore it. The tiara has since made the rounds of the Dutch royal family thoroughly. And appreciating the extent of the diamonds at hand is really part of the magic of this diadem. It's not the shape of the tiara that makes it notable, it's the size and history of the stones. It doesn't make the same loud statement as some of the taller tiaras around, but it makes a statement nevertheless. The fact that this tiara allows so many carats and so much history to be worn with such casual elegance, and not in a way that overpowers a whole look, makes it one of the most royal diadems around. Ninth on our list is the ruby Peacock tiara. In the year 1897, Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands commissioned Johann Eduard Sherman and Company to make a diamond and ruby tiara using rubies that once belonged to Queen Sophie, the first wife of Wilhelmina's father Willem III. The result is this tiara filled with swirls around a central element resembling a peacock tail. The peacock motif can be removed from the tiara and worn in the hair as an aigrette. Matching jewels in the parure include a necklace, which is close to a mirror image of the tiara and can itself be worn in several configurations, and a large brooch. Wilhelmina's daughter, Queen Juliana, wore the necklace on the day she took the throne, and she also wore it occasionally as a headpiece. In the years that followed, it was Juliana's daughter, Princess Irene, who became the Dutch royal associated most with the peacock parure. While most of the major Dutch royal jewels are wrapped up in a family foundation, it was often said that the peacock parure had been gifted to Irene. For decades, the ruby peacock tiara and its necklace went unseen. Many assumed that Irene had quietly sold it at some point, as is often speculated when royal jewels disappear from public view for years on end. Leave it to Queen Maxima, who genuinely seems to love showcasing jewelry and often plays around with new combinations from the family collection, to solve the mystery. Eighth on our list is something of an Art Deco style, the Dutch Aquamarine Tiara, a style that is well suited to the charms of aquamarine. The 7 briolet-cut aquamarine in diamond mounts are the main feature here. They sit upright on a slim base of interlocking diamonds and aquamarines. This tiara was made by Kempen, Begier and Voss, and was an 18th birthday present to Princess Juliana, later Queen Juliana, from her parents, Queen Wilhelmina and Prince Hendrik. The tiara now belongs to the Dutch Family Foundation along with several other aquamarine and diamond pieces which came from Juliana. There are a few different styles and settings in the bunch, but all the pieces are worn interchangeably with the tiara by multiple family members. The glamorous Queen Maxima of the Netherlands has sported an array of tiaras from the Dutch royal family's vast jewel collection, but back in 2001, she selected her very first tiara from the family's stash, the base of the antique pearl tiara. The tiara, which is owned by the Dutch royal family, is sometimes called the Pavlovnik Pearl Tiara. That's because Anna Pavlovna, the queen consort of Willem II of the Netherlands, once had a tiara quite a lot like it. Exactly what happened to that older tiara is unclear. The current antique pearl tiara, which was made in 1900, was designed to mimic the shape of the original Pavlovnik tiara. The large, pear-shaped pearls that sit upright in the tiara are even older than the piece itself. They belong to Amalia of Solms-Braunfels, a 17th-century Dutch princess who shares her name with Maxima's eldest daughter, Catharina Amalia, the current Princess of Orange. Queen Wilhelmina was the first wearer of this pearl tiara, and it has been worn by all Dutch queens since then. Today, Maxima wears the complete piece. Notably, she chose it for the striking portrait released to mark her 40th birthday in 2011, and she's continued to wear it since becoming the nation's queen consort in 2013. The Dutch royal collection includes a number of large tiaras, but perhaps the biggest of all was a now-lost sparkler, which was the tiara from Queen Wilhelmina's wedding gift parure. The enormous, elaborate diamonds and sapphire tiara were made around 1900 by a Dutch firm, Vita Israel and Houding. The parure, which consisted of this tiara, a necklace, which is designed to mirror the tiara, and 2 bracelets, was a gift to the young Dutch queen from her people on the occasion of her wedding to Prince Henry of Mecklenburg-Schwerin. The entire set included more than 800 diamonds and sapphires, all set in white gold. The tiara featured an especially large square diamond set in the center. This was said to have come from the Golconda mine in India. The same mine has yielded several other immensely famous diamonds, including the Hope Diamond. In 1962, her daughter, Queen Juliana, had the tiara dismantled. Whether because the piece was difficult to wear or simply not in line with the current fashion, she chose the piece specifically to be broken up to make new jewels for her daughters. However, not all parts of the parure were completely dismantled. The necklace has been at least partly broken up, as 5 diamond and sapphire lozenges from that piece now sit atop the family's sapphire necklace tiara. The bracelets still exist in the Dutch collection, though they have been modified. Although it's always a bit sad to see heirloom jewels dismantled, most seem to agree that this tiara, as large as it was, wouldn't have been able to be easily worn today. The Dutch royal vaults are absolutely brimming with tiaras, but today's deceptively simple sparkler, Queen Emma's diamond tiara, has been treasured by the women of the family for more than 100 years. The diamond tiara, which features a trio of harp designs with large diamond rosette-style clusters in their centers, is made of silver and gold. It was made for Queen Emma of the Netherlands, the second wife of King Willem III, in 1890 by royal beggir. Although it was commissioned for Emma by Willem, the tiara unintentionally turned into a posthumous gift. It was delivered to Emma at the palace shortly after her husband's death. Emma often wore the tiara topped with a series of diamond stars from her collection. The tiara has been one of the go-to sparklers for Juliana's daughter, Princess Beatrix. When Andy Warhol created a portrait of then Queen Beatrix for his Reigning Queens series in 1985, he chose to depict her wearing the tiara. His portrait was based on this image, taken during the celebrations for her inauguration in 1980. Beatrix wore the tiara throughout her reign. One of the most impressive tiaras in the Dutch collection is known by a few different names. Many call it the Wurttemberg Tiara, as an oft-repeated story of its provenance states that it was one of the wedding gifts given to Princess Sophie of Wurttemberg when she married the future King Willem III of the Netherlands in 1839. It was thought to have been the product of German jewelers, namely A. H. Kuhn, with possible later modifications by Sherman. But a photograph of the tiara was found in the archives of Dutch jeweler Royal Beggir, and was published in Vorsten magazine, indicating that it was made in 1897 for Queen Wilhelmina and was Dutch-made. Though this may dash the Wurttemberg connection, I have chosen to leave it in our title here simply because so many know the tiara by that name. The tiara features an intricate design of diamonds studded with round pearls and topped by detachable drop pearls. Queen Wilhelmina wore the tiara and it has been passed down from queen to queen and/or future queen ever since. Wilhelmina's daughter Juliana wore the tiara, but it was not one of her signature pieces. Instead, her daughter Beatrix has made it one of her well-known pieces, and it is one of the larger tiaras she wears. The tiara belongs to the family foundation, but Beatrix has reserved this one for herself during her reign. The Dutch tiara collection is so large that it includes not one but 2 major ruby tiaras. Today we're going to look at the bigger of the 2 skeptical smiley face, the Grand Ruby Tiara made for the family by Malario. Malario Ditz Meller is a major French jewelry firm with a seriously glittering history. They've been making pieces for centuries, and this tiara is only one of several Malario tiaras in royal collections today. The Dutch ruby tiara was made by the company for Queen Emma around 1888 as a part of a larger ruby parure. The pieces were a gift from Emma's husband, King Willem III. The parure even includes a ruby-encrusted fan. All four of the Dutch queens since Emma have worn the tiara and at least parts of the rest of the parure. The piece has also been worn by many Dutch princesses. The piece has a very classic, tiara shape, with rows of diamonds suspended between the larger elements. That shape fits well with both Princess Beatrix's retro bouffant and Queen Maxima's sleeker hairstyles. Maxima even chose the tiara for her first official portrait as queen. She's reached for it more than once for glittering occasions over the past several years. Her appearance in the tiara at the wedding of Prince Carl Philip of Sweden in 2015 was hailed as an especially major, bejeweled triumph. And since it's a part of the family's jewel foundation, it will sit atop various Dutch royal hairstyles for years to come. For her first official visit to the UK, the Dutch monarch Queen Maxima of the Netherlands appropriately pulled out all of the stops. While she brought along her husband King Willem-Alexander as her date, her most notable companion was by far the Stuart Tiara, home to the Stuart Diamond, which ended up being the star of the ballroom at Buckingham Palace during her royal banquet with Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, and Kate Middleton. This tiara, and accompanying parure, goes by a variety of names, like the House Diamonds, the Stuart Tiara, etc. Whatever you want to call it, it is the grandest set in the substantial Dutch royal collection, and it houses perhaps the single most important stone in the collection. That stone is the Stuart Diamond, a diamond not without its own set of names. It is often called the Holland Diamond, and with one of those histories so extensive you just wish jewels could talk. The exact origins of the stone are a bit hazy, but it comes into our focus in 1690 when it was bought by King William III and Queen Mary II. William and Mary, he, the Prince of Orange, and she, an heir to the British throne from the House of Stuart, reigned jointly in England. The stone was rough when they acquired it, and Mary shunned the seller's advice to cut it into two stones by fashioning it into its pear-shaped, rose-cut, 39.75 carat form. Not only is it a large diamond, but it is also a pale blue color with a greenish sea tint, a combination that makes this an incredibly rare and valuable stone. The Stuart Diamond lived in England with the reigning couple but was returned to the Netherlands in 1702 after both had died and they had no children. It was determined to be the property of the House of Orange. Though Mary's sister Queen Anne of England would sue to get it back, she failed, and it has remained in the Orange collection ever since. One of the big guns, so to speak, in the Dutch royal collection is their massive Sapphire Tiara. It includes 655 South African diamonds, now set in platinum. The 33 sapphires are nestled at the bottom of the diadem like stained glass windows beneath Gothic arches in the sparkliest cathedral ever. Adding to the sparkle factor, some of the stones are tremblant, meaning set on springs so that they move with the wearer and create the maximum amount of reflection. The tiara was purchased in 1881 by King Willem III of the Netherlands for his wife, Queen Emma. It seems to have skipped over Emma's daughter, Queen Wilhelmina, and was next worn by Emma's granddaughter Queen Juliana, then followed by Queen Beatrix. Today it is worn by Queen Maxima. In the course of its history, the tiara has gained some pieces to make up a parure. A massive necklace and two enormous bracelets were added later, and a brooch also from Emma's collection is usually named as part of the parure as well. In 2013, ahead of the inauguration of King Willem-Alexander, more alterations were made to the tiara. The base was supplemented so that the piece now sits slightly higher on the wearer's head. Queen Maxima wore the tiara for the first time in public at her husband's inauguration, but on that occasion, she didn't actually wear the complete piece. The tall central diamond plume of the tiara was removed for the event and replaced with a single round brilliant, giving the tiara a curved shape resembling a Russian kokoshnik. That diamond alteration wasn't permanent, though. Queen Maxima wore the impressive full version of the tiara for the first time in public during a state visit to Denmark in March 2015, even repeating her inauguration gown for the occasion. The side view of the full tiara, shown here during the state banquet, really emphasizes the Gothic design of the tiara, which soars skyward like a cathedral. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the top 10 tiara collections from the Dutch monarchy. We hope you have a great day and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on all our latest content.